Alrighty, everyone. This is meteorologist Timmy Albertson here with you guys. Just a quick little update on Hurricane Lee. Latest advisory has come out from the National Hurricane Center, and Lee has actually managed to re-intensify just a little bit. As a matter of fact, over the past about 36 hours or so, we've been taking a look at Lee. It went from a Category 5 hurricane on Friday morning to down to about 105-mile-an-hour winds earlier on this morning. So that was a pretty big drop in its wind speed, and a lot of that had to do with some wind shear that was kind of really affecting its development and organization. Well, the wind shear has since kind of decreased a little bit, and Lee has managed to get itself better organized, and we're now kind of starting to see that eye coming back on the infrared satellite imagery, which is what you see right below there. That's not a radar imagery, that's just a satellite, an infrared satellite imagery. Lee is now back up to a Category 3 hurricane with winds of 120 miles an hour. It is expected to maybe gradually intensify a little bit more as we go into the overnight and into the day tomorrow. Very well probably becoming a Category 4 hurricane, which on the Sampras-Simpson scale, there we go, to my left, you can see is winds between 130 and 156 miles an hour. I think right now it's expected to be about 140-mile-an-hour winds. When it kind of reaches its end of its re-intensification. Now, of course, things could change with that, but you get the overall idea. Interesting thing here with Lee is that we took a look at some of the models a couple days ago here, and just to kind of help illustrate it, we'll flip over really quickly to one of the models here, and I'll just kind of show this here that Lee right now is kind of rounding the base here of an upper level trough. I'll go ahead and flip the video up really quickly here, and that's this area of high pressure that is just up towards its north. Lee being a hurricane, a very low area of pressure, it cannot move. It cannot move that area of high pressure. However, Lee has no choice but to go around it. So as we go through the next couple of days, though, you can see that ridge begins to kind of weaken a little bit, and that's going to allow Lee to actually slow down. You see, over the past couple of days, it's been moving at a decent speed as it's been trying to round the base of that upper level ridge. But now that we see that ridge kind of beginning to taper off a little bit, and that's going to kind of help Lee. Lee's actually going to slow down a little bit. Now, that plays a very interesting part in the forecast, because as Lee begins to slow down by the time we get towards about Tuesday and Wednesday, what's actually going to happen is its slow motion is going to cause something known as upwelling, which is where the waves from the hurricane obviously churn the water enough that the cooler water gets brought up. If you are a hurricane, that's not good, because hurricanes like warm water, not cooler water. So that will eventually maybe lead to a little bit of a decrease in Lee's intensity by the middle part of the week. And then it's going to take its jog up towards the north, and it'll probably run into a lot more wind shear and probably begin to weaken even further. So right now it's looking like Lee's going to probably have a secondary peak here sometime over the next about 48 hours. But then as we go into the middle of the week, it'll begin to weaken. And what it does a little bit beyond there is still somewhat uncertain, but it does look like it'll probably be taking almost a straight jog up towards the north, and maybe getting close to the Canadian Maritimes by the time we get towards maybe the end of next weekend. So just a quick little update on Lee right now. Category 3 hurricane, likely going to become a Category 4 hurricane again here in the near future. It'll kind of plateau off of its intensity as it kind of begins to slow down. Upwelling happens, begins to weaken it a bit. Then it'll take a turn to the north, and it's eventually going to run into some more wind shear, which will continue to weaken it too. So that's kind of just a quick little update on what's going on with Hurricane Lee. Alrighty, everyone. Hope you all have a good rest of your Sunday evening. And if I don't have another video later on this evening, we'll be back tomorrow evening with the weather chat. Make sure you tune in for that. Hope you all have a good rest of your weekend.